It's the time for the package from China. Let's go! Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video we are going to take a close look at the game boxes from AliExpress that I picked up a very long time ago. Also we have like quite interesting, let's say, different versions, but you can also call this thing the game box the vacuum cleaner edition, because that is what they sound like. I don't know if you can still pick up the game box with the other case. This is most the particular one you will find, if you even can find it nowadays. So what is it and what can we do with it? So in this case you can see that this is made for putting it in an arcade machine, or just, yeah, put it somewhere behind your television, but especially I think in an arcade machine, because that's one of those things you can do with it. It comes with a USB connection and you can basically configure an encoder board to it. We do have an RJ45 Ethernet connection, audio out, no VGA but only HDMI, but of course you can maybe use, let's say, a converter, and the input for the 5V power supply. That is a very tiny jack. Then we do have, like, I think it's very difficult to show you, a micro USB over here, and then we do have like the SD card that is in here. Beside that, there is nothing much to say about it, but let's take a close look at the translucent version, because this is basically how it looks in the inside. So this is the first one I basically picked up back in the day, and I must say I was quite surprised by it, what it can do. So this is based on, if I'm saying it correct, like I think it was an orange spy or something like that, and the vacuum cleaner sound is basically this fan. And yeah, there is nothing beneath it. Basically what it is, you can see it over here, they mounted the fan on here, just basically to blow the fresh air through the, let's say, passive cooling over there. And I can tell you it's really needed, because this thing gets really hot over time. So the translucent edition was more like a TV game box or a system you can put by your television, and the white one was for putting in an arcade machine. And yeah, is this something you should put in your arcade machine? That we're going to find out, so let's plug it in. Alright. We need to take it all apart, because at the bottom we are finding the screws for the fan. So we can do a closer look on the main board. Maybe we can find some more information. Alright. Let's see, turn it around before we go into. My screwdriver is not the right measurement, but it does the trick. Alright. Oh man. Man, these are tight. Alright. Alright, that is part number 2. So as you can see here, they are using this SanDisk card, 32 gigabytes. So for this part I'm going to grab myself a bigger screwdriver. Yes, they have been attached with some Parkers and not just regular screws. Alright, that's number 1. Okay. So what this basically does is, this is, you have to be shitting with me. There's a ventilator that's on this, there's nothing, there's no cooling element, it's just a little fan that is blowing air to the cooling element here. Alright, that is some pretty damn weird stuff. Is this very tight on? Yeah, I think it's glued on or something like that. Yeah, this is glued on. But again, if you look at the cooling element, it looks, even if you look at some little bit of residue here. So I'm guessing this is a unique PCB board that they have designed in China itself. It's a little bit of a bummer that they didn't use a bigger heatsink or 2 or 3 smaller heatsinks. Wow. I must say I like the layout of this thing. Oh, the reason I'm not using it on my capture device is pretty damn simple. My Elgato doesn't recognize the signal at all, so it's a little bit weird, but it needs to be full HD, but so there are a lot of systems on this thing, pre-installed, very naughty. Pressing start, ropey 4. Some NES. Oh, I'm guessing I need to find my buttons. Oh, here it is. Whoppa. Oh yeah. I've never played this game before. Alright. So I basically need to collect all the items or what? Alright, let's try a little bit of PlayStation. I must say the controls doesn't play like the original one or the original PlayStation controls, but overall not bad at all. Ow! There goes my perfect. Like it. At first I was getting this thing and I was thinking, okay, we're going to get out this very crappy casing, but it looks very cheap on the picture itself. Alright, whatever. How can I... Ah, here it is. Right, so this is what we're going to get. Yeah. So removing the cooling element was not a big of a deal. It was more like you click it off because the glue was not very good. So the reason I wanted to remove the cooling element and clean the chip, I just wanted to show you what are we going to get. So it comes with the All-Winner H3. I have seen this chip many times before, for example with some Pandora boxes, for example, so it's a very common chip. Here we have 2 extra chips, and these are the RAM, and I did some research on the Handhelds versions, or how do you pronounce this, but what I understand that are both 1 GB, so together this thing has 2 gigs of RAM. Alright, so the fan itself it sucks in air from the top and blows it over the cooling element. I did notice that it wasn't quite effective, and it's going to need, because these chips are going to get really hot. So, but the only epic fail is that this thing needs to have some, let's say, ventilation input, so it can suck in new air. But as you can see over here, the casing doesn't have this. So if you turn it out, you can see it has some little ventilation holes over here, but I'm guessing this is not enough. A while ago I did the TV Game Box 8001 too, and I just wanted to show you here that it is actually the same version. So it doesn't even matter if you're having the transparent case, if they still sell it, or you're having this one. Still, I really prefer this one simply because of the ventilation, so you can get better cooling and it looks way better. Alright, so when powering on the device, man, oh man, this thing is like a freaking vacuum cleaner. So, and fun fact, it's out of the casing. So if you're going to put it in the casing, it's going to get even worse. Alright, so powering up, that's what you're going to get. It's basically a RetroPie, or basically it's running on Orange Pi. So it has all the features like RetroPie, only the Orange Pi is less powerful, so you cannot run PSP, Sega Dreamcast. You can do all kinds of things with it, but is it worth picking up nowadays? Depending how much you pay for it. If you're paying around like €50, it may be a fun thing if you just like the old school stuff. So if you want to use this thing like in game system, there are so many ways to play. We have so many game boxes, so it's absolutely like outdated when it comes to playing retro game. But again, like if you just want to play some 8-bit, 16-bit stuff MAME, it runs just fine. The controllers are overall quality is not that great, like you do have wireless but also wired version. Again, depends what the setup will give you. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions whatsoever. It would be great to see you in the next video.